50 episodes deep, and we're going to keep bringing you the secrets on the road. We're just beginning to scratch the surface. I'm your host, Chris Miles. Today, we're going to be following the smoke from Sneedville to the back roads of Alabama. We're tracking heavy hitters like Morgan Wallen, the Red Clay Straws, plus the meteoric rise of Stella Lefty. Did you check her out, the Chicago native? She was all over the Stagecoach stage all last weekend long. Our spotlight's going to burn on a former firefighter with a rock and roll soul. And then we're going to dig into the legends. We're talking about Johnny Cash and even Reba, her 16th album, Reba. The history is deep. The future is now. Episode 50 of New on Music Row starts right now. Well, we've made it to episode 50, and a lot of people would say that's a milestone. I would be a lot of those people. Well, one of those lots of people, I guess I should say. It's hard to believe that we're at episode 50. 2 more episodes, and technically we've been, episoding for a year, right? Because one every week in a year, there's like 52 weeks in the year or something. I don't know where I'm going with that. But anyway, of course, we're going to keep bringing you all of the latest and greatest information from the Row. And we do it here on New on Music Row. It's only here on the Rise Network. And I just want to start off the show by saying thank you guys so much for all the support that you give, for tuning in week by week, for watching the little shorts, especially when I make little flub ups. And we put those on you guys, and your comments are absolutely amazing. I appreciate all the kind words that you guys have given me about what we've done here on the show. And I hope that you see that we are taking some of those comments and we're turning them into new things here on the program. And speaking of that, we're going to get right into it. Well, we talked about the 5 picks from last week, right? We do this every week. We talk about the picks that I made from last week and where they ended up as far as streams are concerned. And this week, what can we say? Cody Johnson, I Want You, 1.7 million streams. Such a great song. It's a song of endearing love, and enduring love too. Absolutely great. And of course, 1.7 million streams for the week. So doing absolutely wonderful there. Some of the smaller markets, if you haven't heard the song just yet, don't worry about it. It'll get there. You know how country music works. It tends to be a couple of weeks before the new songs hit in certain areas. In other areas, they just blow up, sometimes even right before the song's supposed to release, and sometimes a little bit later. And this week's 5 picks is going to include one of those where the song blew up and it was on the air and, it kind of slid under the radar, so to speak. Up next, Casey Musgraves, Middle of Nowhere, 1.4 million streams. We took a little bit of a joke this past week with one of the videos that we did, saying that, she never really went anywhere. She was always around. I was more so referring to like brand new music from her and that kind of stuff. So anyway, but of course we're poking fun at myself, really, because Casey Musgraves is a talent that's going to be around for quite some time, right? Riley Green's My Way, 2.4 million streams. And did we expect it to be anywhere lower than that? The interesting thing about the 5 picks from last week, almost every single one of them was a million streamer this week. Heart You Don't Break, Max McNow, million streams this week. He's from Bend, Oregon, rather. If you haven't checked him out, I know I said it last week, I know I said it a week before, and I know there's a video out there that I said, he needs to be on your radar. He really does. He's just absolutely amazing and a wonderful talent, and he's up and coming on the rise. I got a chance to check him out while I was in Nashville, and just such an amazing live performer. Saw him at the Ryman, so kind of got the old Grand Opry vibes and that kind of stuff. So it was a lot of fun. It was a great show as well. Last but not least, Ernest, Time is a Thief. Ernest ended up at 212,000 streams, rather. So unfortunately, we didn't go 5 for 5 with the 1 million streams this week. But you know what? That's not one of the things that I aim for. What I aim for with these is trying to pick songs that I have some sort of connection. Every single one of these songs that I pick has a connection with me in some way, shape, or form. I felt something from the song, and I'm hoping that you do as well too. And some of these, obviously, My Way, Riley Green. Do we have to get into it? No, I don't think we do. But we do have to get into the 5 picks from this week. And we're starting off with a duo that when the song hit, I shouldn't say when the song hit, but when the album came out for this particular artist, there was a license plate on a truck or a car, and everybody was trying to figure out what the license plate meant. Well, now we finally know. The initials ICLYA are I Can't Love You Anymore. Morgan Wallen and Ella Langley. Of course, Morgan from Sneedsville, Tennessee, Ella from Hope Hall, Alabama. And the song just exploding everywhere. And I couldn't not talk about it this week, and share it with you if you haven't heard it already. I don't think there's a single market that's not playing the song already. And of course, Morgan Wallen and Ella doing some great stuff on tour together as well, too. They've got another big stadium tour going on this summer. Going to be stopping here in Chicago at Soldier Field as well. And I know Ella's going to be raring to go for that performance as well. So is Morgan. I mean, he puts on such a great show. Up next, Stella Lefty, who literally just blew up the stage. I mean, she didn't blow up the stage last weekend, but she was all over the place, making a huge name for herself. Now, she's from originally from Chicago, but she's now in L.A. The song that she's got out right now is called Boston. Check it out. I think you're going to like it. We're going to talk a little bit more about Stella in just a few minutes here. This song is actually my pick of the week. I think you should... because I think you should get into her, and I think you should start listening to her. She's, like I said, she's such a charismatic individual, made such a huge impression at Stagecoast this past weekend, and you know what? Boston is one of those great songs. Next, the Red Clay Straws. They're going to be in town for the Smokeout this year. Demons in Your Choir is the name of the track that I'm looking at. They're from Mobile, Alabama, and it's just a great song. It's traditional Red Clay Straws. It's what you'd expect from that country soul edge music. I think you're going to love it. It'll be on the playlist. We got it right there on Spotify, new on Music Row. Check it out every single week. We add new songs to that list. All the songs that we talk about here on the show. Up next, Kip Moore with Levy. He is from Tifton, Georgia. Kip has got some pretty huge songs out there. Let's see. People Hating. Oh, I'm sorry. Something About a Truck. I was looking at my notes the wrong way. That happens sometimes. Whoops. Anyway, Something About a Truck, Beer Money, Hey Pretty Girl, More Girls Like You, and then my personal favorite, I really love Last Shot. When I first heard that song, I just completely fell in love with it. And I hope it connected for you just like it connected for me. And I hope that this song from Kip Moore, the new one here, Levy, connects for you as well. Last but not least, Gretchen Wilson making her debut here on the 5 Picks of the Week. She's got a song coming out called Redneck Shh. Can't say the rest of it because otherwise the censors are going to get all over me for it. I'm thinking that this is her answer to Redneck Woman, but in a different sort of way. At least that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from it. But you can listen to it. It's on the playlist on Spotify, new on Music Row. Listen to it there and tell me what you think. Are we tracking on the same thing, or am I just completely off in left field? Now, Gretchen is from Pocahontas, Illinois, originally as well, too. So we're featuring 2 artists today in the 5 Picks of the Week that are from Illinois, my hometown. So pretty awesome there. Gretchen Wilson, of course, huge in the early 2000s. And if you don't know who Gretchen Wilson is, then you were not a country fan in the 2000s. Redneck Woman is such a huge hit for her. Here for the Party, another one as well. All Jacked Up, Home Wrecker, all great, huge hits for her from her first and second albums as well. And I think Redneck is going to, put herself back into another market, so to speak. We'll see what happens there. Of course, she's been popping up all over the place, doing a bunch of different things, supporting some acts and things of that nature, and even appearing on some TV shows as well. So those are the 5 picks of the week. Let's recap them one more time. I Can't Love You Anymore, Morgan Wallen and Ella Langley. Boston from Stella Lefty, sorry. Demons in Your Choir, the Red Clay Straws. Levy from Kip Moore. And then last but not least, Redneck Shh from Gretchen Wilson. Those are the 5 picks of the week. Like I said, they'll be featured in our playlist right there on Spotify called New on Music Row. You can find it every single week. Brand new music up there. And sometimes we throw in some older songs as well, because we'll feature them in like the History Roundup, which we'll get to a little bit later in the program. But now let's move on to the Rising Star Spotlight. I've been talking to you guys about the Grand Ole Opry, the next Opry, the next generation of stars. And we've got another one featuring that this week as well. Tyler Braden has been on that list, or is part of this year's class 2026. He is from Slapout, Alabama, which I think is a hilarious name for Slap Out, or for a town, I should say. We'll get to what the story is in just a second. Tyler Braden's been around for a little bit, but he's making a name for himself. You probably know, let's see, like Devil You Know. You've probably heard that song. Maybe God and Guns N' Roses. Maybe even Might Be Dangerous. That's one of my personal favorites, actually. Thank Me for That, another great song from him. Try Losing One, and then 17. And the interesting thing about Tyler is he's got a really, really interesting past. We were talking about this in the intro to the show. He was a firefighter, spent 7 years as firefighter / paramedic in Montgomery, Alabama. And then he even started serving in Brentwood, Tennessee, right before he signed his first major publishing deal. He's from Slap Out, Alabama, like we've said. And so this is the cool story. It's a tiny community right there in Slap Out, Alabama. The local legend says that the town got its name because the original grocery store owner was always slap out of everything. So it's kind of interesting in a strange sort of way. But anyway, he is a huge golf fanatic. When he's not on stage, you'll probably find him right there on the golf course. He's an avid golfer. He even hosts the annual Tyler Braden Engine 68 Invitational. It's a golf tournament where he raises money for first responder charities. So giving back to the community that gave him roots and helped him make his way while he was trying to figure out if he wanted to stay as a firefighter or if he was going to, get into country music. So he is a late bloomer. He played in a band in high school, but he didn't actually move out to Nashville to take up music seriously until he was about 27 years old. So here's the thing. You can look at him in this light. Tyler Braden proving that it's never too late to chase your dreams. So get out there. Don't worry about it. You're going to get no's, but that's okay. Because you know what? You're going to get to where you need to go. And Tyler Braden's a huge example of that. I kind of am too. I mean, I've been around for a little bit, but I didn't get into it right away. I waited some years, not until like my late 30s, early 40s did I get into the whole radio thing. And now here I am in your living room, or, well, I don't know, maybe your phone or whatever. I know it sounds kind of creepy. Anyway, you can see me every week on YouTube. I'm going to stop right there. Okay. Anyway, Tyler Braden is a reality TV star. Try to say that 3 times fast. He was representing Tennessee on the NBC show, American Song Contest. That was in 2022. And that's where he performed his song 17. And he made it all the way to the grand finale. He describes his music as having like a country heart, but a rock soul. Blending blues and soul into his country music, as well as traditional storytelling, and then even that rock and roll spirit. And you can hear that rock and roll spirit, I mean, in a lot of his stuff, but really in God and Guns N' Roses as well. Kind of a cool nod there, what he does in that song. When he is a country artist, but like we were talking, his sound is heavily influenced by rock and roll music, even grunge, as a matter of fact. He cites bands like Linkin Park and Foo Fighters as inspirations. And it's got like a gritty country rock sound to him. It's pretty cool. It's raw. It's unhinged. He believes the newer sound of country should be more relatable and raw, which he incorporates into his own vocal delivery and even his songwriting as well. And that's something we've been seeing kind of across the board as far as country stars are concerned, and even some pop stars as well. Just really getting down to the rawness of things and just being completely open and like divulging their inner emotions and feelings and stuff, just kind of putting it out on the page there. And that's really the way that, I mean, music is just such a connection to the soul. One of my favorite sayings is that when words fade, music will always have some sort of melody to provide, or will always give you the words that you need to express what you're feeling. And that's it right there. It's the expression of feelings. So at least for me, and I know a lot of the people that I talk to about the show as well, music is just an extension or an expression of their feelings as well. And that's why we have so many different genres as well. Now, here's the cool thing about Tyler Braden. He isn't the only singer in his house. His parents used to perform together at local venues as well as private parties. And even his aunts and uncles would also get up on the stage as well, sometimes with his mom and his dad. And even sometimes, just in the house and doing things their own. The aunt and uncle would do that as well. So from a very young age, I mean, he's been rocking and rolling, so to speak, since probably like 5 years old. But Tyler Braden is going to be the the Rising Star Spotlight of the Week this week. Check them out and check out the songs that we're going to feature on the playlist. It's new on Music Row. It's on Spotify. You can check it out every week. Leave me comments, about the show here on YouTube, or even if you're checking us out in podcast form, we're available on Spotify, Apple Music, and a lot of other places where you can get podcasts as well. I always love interacting with you guys, talking to you guys about things. Appreciate the comments. Another guy said, really, that he really loves the show, that I'm kind of the only one out there that's really bringing you all of these up-and-coming stars and artists, and really kind of giving you guys a behind-the-scenes, peeling back the onion, if you will, the layers of the onion, of the Music Row onion. We'll put it that way. And for 50 episodes. So I got to thank you guys for that as well. Speaking of 50 episodes, let's talk about, maybe even going back more than just 50 years ago. It's time for Today in Country Music History. Of course, we're looking at May 1st across the board. 1945, we'll go all the way back there to celebrate a birthday. Born on this day in Lafayette, Tennessee, was Rita Coolidge. Some of you are probably looking at the screen right. Some of you are probably looking at the screen right now going, who's Rita Coolidge? Never heard of her. Well, she's a singer-songwriter, and she was married to Chris Christopherson for quite some time. I remember as a kid, the first time I heard Chris Christopherson and he talked, he just had this interesting way of saying his name. He was like, I'm Chris Christopherson. And so I would stand in front of the mirror and go, Chris Christopherson. I don't know. It was weird. And so am I. But hey, you know what? That's it. They met in L.A. They were in the airport. They were both on the same flight. And they were both kind of going to Tennessee. And he was supposed to go to Nashville, but instead he got off in Memphis to kind of hang out with her. And then they married in 1973. And so Rita and Chris became like a country duo. She recorded several duet albums with him, earned the duo a Grammy Award for Best Country Performance for a duo or group. That was in 1974 for the song From the Bottle to the Bottom. And then again, they won in 1976 for Lover Please. We might feature one of those two songs on the playlist as well. I think we'll probably put Lover Please on there, so you can check that out there as well. Moving on, 1967. And I guess we could still call that the Wayback Machine. But moving on to 1967 for one particular reason. In Delilah, Louisiana, country singer by the name of Tig McGraw. Not to be confused with his dad, right? Tug McGraw, but Tim McGraw, born on this date, 1967, May 1st. Country singer, actor. You probably most notably know him for being Faith Hill's wife, maybe. Or maybe if you're really into country music like I am, you know him from the days of Don't Take the Girl. Oh, my God, what a great song that is. Let's see. He's topped the country music charts a total of 40 million units, 11 consecutive albums that debuted at number one on the Billboard album charts, 21 singles hitting number one, even on the Billboard Hot Country Songs chart. And then, he's the son of former baseball player Tug McGraw. So happy birthday, Tim. Born in this date, May 1st, 1967. All right, we're going to go back a few years, 1956. Let's talk about Johnny Cash. May 1st seemed to have been a date in Johnny Cash's history where he just had a lot of things going on. So in 56, he released his classic song, I Walk the Line. It became his first number one Billboard country hit, remained on the charts for over 43 weeks, selling over 2 million copies. And it has a unique chord progression. It was inspired by backwards playing of the guitar, which Cash used to do, and he kind of put it on a tape, recorded it while he was in the Air Force in Germany. Now let's jump ahead to 1969. Bob Dylan would appear on a show, on Johnny Cash's show at the Ryman in Nashville, Tennessee. After he did 2 solo numbers, Dylan was then joined on stage by Johnny Cash, and they did a rendition of A Girl from the North Country. And in this primetime show, Cash enjoyed booking contemporary performers as his guests, like Neil Young, Kenny Rogers, the First Edition, who appeared a record 4 times on the show. He had James Taylor, Ray Charles, even Eric Clapton, all booked to appear on a ton of shows. So major success there. And of course, at the Ryman, and if you've ever been there, there's just some sort of magic about being in that building. It's unexplainable. but it's so amazing. All right, last but not least, on the Johnny Cash tour here, 1971, Man in Black, the 38th overall album by Johnny Cash, was released, and many of the songs on the album contain political references, either broad or specific. And while the title song refers both to Cash's tendency to wear black at live shows, it's also to the tumultuous times which were going on at the time there, basically implying about the Vietnam War. All right, so May 1st, the big date for Johnny Cash in country music history. Also a big day for Alabama. They released Feel So Right, which became the group's fourth straight #1 single on the country charts. The track was the fourth in a string of 21 consecutive #1 singles in as many releases that spanned from 1980 to 1987. Moving up to 1989, we talked about 17. Well, Sweet 16 was a thing for Reba. That was her 16th album. She released it in 1989 on this date. And the album's title derives from it being, well, McIntyre's 16th album. There were 4 singles from the album that entered the Billboard Country Charts at #1. Kathy's Clown, which was a cover version of the Everly Brothers song. Walk On. And then top 10 hits like Till Love Comes Again and Little Girl. The album stayed at #1 for, coincidentally enough, 16 consecutive weeks. In 1993, Charlie Pride was accepted an invitation to join the Grand Ole Opry. And in the process, he became the first black Opry regular in the show's more than 70-year history. And Pride has sold over 70 million records worldwide. Jumping ahead to 2007, Miranda Lambert released her second album, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, which was actually one of the big songs from that album. The album went on to #1 on the top country albums chart, also reached #6 on the overall American chart. And in late spring of 2008, actually, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend won the Album of the Year award at the Academy of Country Music Awards. Also, Gunpowder and Lead is on that album as well. There's a couple other good things, other good songs on there as well. I think we might throw Gunpowder and Lead into the playlist. It's one of my favorite Miranda Lambert songs. All right, last but not least in the country music history Wayback Machine, going back to 2012, Carrie Underwood released her 4th studio album, Blown Away. The album, of course, debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, so of course it blew away the album charts there, right? It was her that made it her the 3rd female to chart at #1 on the Billboard charts with 3 country albums. So she tied with Linda Ronstadt and Faith Hill. The album spawned the country airplay #1 singles Good Girl and Blown Away. That's a look at country music history. And, you know, we do the birthdays in this area as well, too. So I've said this before. I'll say it again. If you want to send a birthday shout out to somebody and you want to let me know, just hit me up in the comments or check me out on socials, Chris_Miles_DJ. You can send me an IM if you want there as well, too. Last but not least, it's time for the weekly pick. And earlier we kind of gave this away. I wouldn't say gave it away, but I kind of alluded to it. Boston from Stella Lefty, of course, making a huge impression at Stagecoach this past weekend. And I was like, you know, we need to give her some love for that. So she's originally from Chicago. She now lives in L.A., and Boston's a great song. You should check it out. I'm going to throw a couple other songs on the playlist as well. I really like Kiss Me from her. I also like Thinking About You, and then Slow Dancing. Now, I found her because of my horror film enthusiasm that I have, or my interest in horror films. More specifically, I'm like a huge Wes Craven fan. And you're going to be like, when I tell you the name of the movie that I really like, and I've seen all 7 of them, you're going to be like, oh, it's like Rocky. Like, why do we need another one of those? At Scream 7, she was featured on the soundtrack for that. There's a song called The Kill. And I was like, ooh, this song's really good. And the gal that's singing on it, just absolutely amazing. So I did a little bit of research, and I was like, oh, she's kind of like a country pop artist. So I was like, we should figure out a point to get her in. I originally had slated her to be one of in the Rising Star Spotlight, and then she just blew up this past weekend at Stagecoach, and I was like, you know what, I got to include her in the show today. So that's what we're doing. A little background on her: she is the daughter of the billionaire entrepreneur Eric Lafosky. He is the co-founder of Groupon. Her love for music started early. She began playing the guitar and writing her own songs at the age of 5. She blew up on TikTok in earlier this year after a candid video of her and her best friend Grace Enger vibing to their song "Thinking About You" amassed over 10 million views. And like I said, she was a surprise breakout performer at Stagecoast this year. Even had some impromptu appearances on a couple of different stages for a couple of different artists as well too. And you could see her live energy. She says she aims for her live performances to be an experience, often leading into a more confident live presence that bridges the gap between intimate songwriting rather, and electrifying shows. And you could see that this weekend in Stagecoach if you were able to catch it while they're live, or if you watch some of the videos, the clips and stuff that was out there, or maybe even if you were listening live in some radio formats from as well. Her songs focus on vulnerability and authenticity, dealing with themes like relationships, insecurity, and even growing up. She is kind of categorized as, like I was saying, country pop or country indie pop, but her music also incorporates elements of Americana, folk, and even indie rock. And she describes her music as feel-good, fun music that makes you want to dance, quoting her directly. She actively avoids being strictly defined by a single genre, explaining that she often gets in her head about it and just prefers to focus on doing whatever sounds best to her and represents her authentically. And I think Boston is a real good representation of that. Kiss Me is one too, and Thinking About You also just great songs as well. So like I said, we're going to feature a couple of those on the Spotify playlist because obviously in the 5 picks of the week, we've already featured Boston from Stella Lefty as well. So that is the weekly pick of the week, Boston, Stella Lefty. Give it some huge love. Like it, listen to it wherever you can. Request it from your local radio DJs, and let's blow this thing up for her. I think she's such a great up-and-coming, amazing talent, and she deserves to feel some love from us. So, hey, that's the show. That's the 50th show for New on Music Row. It's so hard to believe that we've hit episode 50, but a milestone nonetheless. Again, I'm so appreciative of every single one of you that watch or listen every single week. Much love to you. I wish you guys nothing but the best in anything that you do. And remember, always keep reaching for the stars. I don't know why I'm going Casey Kasem, but it just kind of popped in my head. So I'm gonna roll with it there. Probably because when I was a kid, like 8 or 9 years old, I used to listen to his top 40 every single week, and that's kind of what he's one of the persons that I would say inspired me to kind of do what I'm doing now. So again, I appreciate you guys so much. We'll be back again next week with another episode, episode 51, jam-packed with information for what happened with the 5 picks this week, and of course a brand new set of 5 picks, brand new weekly pick, and even a brand new Rising Star Spotlight. You can only catch it here on the Rise Network, which is available in video form on YouTube, and of course in audio form or podcast form, I guess I should say, on Spotify and Apple Music, and of course any other place you can get podcasts as well. But until next week, I'll see you on the flip side.